I feel the need to exorcise the space. Get rid of all that anguish, that heavy duty art stuff. Another one up here. Now, it's all mine. Got rid of all that stuff. It's all mine. To do whatever I like with. The question is what? What the hell? What? All the better to see you with. Just practicing. I'm going on holiday tomorrow. If you're going on holiday, you've got to have some cool shades. What I like about performing is that you get to use all those mistakes, all those things you bought, thinking they were really amusing. And then you get them home and you think, yeah, well, maybe next time, maybe next week. And all those mail-order disasters that arrive and they're see-through and they're pink and they're disgusting. But you haven't got the heart to send them back or you can't be bothered. You get to wear them and you get to be proud to wear them. But actually tonight, I'm dressed really tastefully. Except, I've been doing a lot of ironing last few days to get ready for my holiday. And I think I got confused about which outfit I was meant to wear. So I think this is the holiday one. Never mind. You see, it's like this. I've had issues with clothing for as long as I can remember. When I was a teenager, there weren't such things as teenagers. The name didn't exist. That's how long ago it was. And you could either buy clothes in the children's department or in the grown-ups department. There wasn't anything in between. And so I had to invent who and what I was. I had to make my own clothes. I'm not very good at making clothes. But then, after that, I kind of went into this sort of beatnik phase. And I can remember I had long black skirt and long black top. And I had wooden beads that went black like this. And I thought I was the bee's knees. I probably was. The sad thing was that at the time, my mother, she must have been, I don't know, late 30s, 40s, I don't know how old she was. She just had a hysterectomy. And so she was feeling kind of fragile about her stomach, but also about her identity, her sexuality. She obviously didn't really quite feel confident anymore. And at that time, where this daughter was just blossoming and burgeoning and bursting with desire and lust and all that stuff. So So she started borrowing my clothes. And she went out dressed in this long black skirt and this long black jumper and these beads. And she was a teacher, and she wore them to her school. I don't know what the kids thought about it, but I was kind of embarrassed. But then, daughters always are embarrassed by their mothers. One day, this was when trousers had become available for the first time for girls, and I had a slinky black pair. So proud of these trousers. And my friend Linnis, she had a pair as well. Now you need to know that we went to a nice girls' school, and nice girls don't wear slinky black trousers. We were so proud of our trousers. And it was half term, but my parents were still at school. So Linnis and I, we thought we would do something really nice. We would go to my mother's school and we would say hello in our trousers. So we go. I'd never been there before. We go to my mother's school. I had no idea what it was like, but there was wire netting everywhere, which I kind of hadn't anticipated. And there was this large playground, and the school was kind of way back there. And it was break time, and so the playground was full of kids all milling around doing what children do. And I don't know quite what we expected, but I think I expected to arrive and go, hello Mum, hello Dad, nice to see you. But they weren't there. There was no sign of them, they were just all these kids. So we kind of hung around for a bit, feeling a bit stupid. And then kind of slunk off home, thinking, well, you know, what was that all about? That night, my parents came home, and they had seen us. They had been looking out of the window, but they weren't waving. And my father was, there has to be some backstory here. I came from a home where nobody ever said anything that mattered. Nobody let on what they were thinking or feeling. This is why I became an art critic. I spent my entire childhood watching, analysing, interpreting, looking for the flicker of a nostril or an earlobe or a mouth, trying to pick up on the details, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And I got very good at it. So, this household where no one ever expresses any emotion, no one ever says a cross word, no one ever says a kind word, no one ever says anything very much. My father comes home and he is boiling with rage. I have never seen my father show an emotion before, and he is boiling with rage. He says, if ever you come near my school again in those trousers, I'll kill you. I was completely mortified. I'd gone there in a gesture of goodwill to say hello, celebration. You could have lost us our jobs. And he was serious. He seriously believed that his delinquent daughter turning up at the school would lose him his job. And I was so hurt and felt so misunderstood that I was don't know what the word is. Infused, that's the word. Infused to say, he said, if you ever turn up in those trousers again, I'll burn those bloody trousers. And I said, and in that case, I'll burn yours. Upon which my undemonstrative father leapt at me and grabbed me around the throat and started to smack me. For real. It wasn't play acting. Fortunately, my mother was there and she thought things were going a little bit too far. Because we don't show emotion, we don't strangle people, we just don't do that kind of thing. Because we're nice and class people, it's bad form. Even if your daughter is delinquent, it's bad form. So I lived to tell another tale. I lived for another day. I lived to dress badly. So when I went to art school, it was easy. For the first time, it was easy. I wore the shortest, tightest, brightest, pinkest hot pants you could get. Long boots and tight tops. Boy, did I look good. Silly or what? Now, by the time I was that age, my grandmother, by the time when she was the age I am now, she was swathed in corsets from here to here. Great, serious things with laces and then loose kind of floppy blousey dresses, so you didn't really see all that flesh, all that stuff underneath. And my toenails are the same as hers, so I know that I've got the same genes, and I have the potential to go down that route. So I'm not wearing corsets for anybody. But what am I wearing? What am I wearing? What does one wear? When I was a teenager, there were no such things as teenagers. Now I'm a granny, I'm having to do the same thing again. I'm having to make it all up. I'm not doing prinsets and pearls. I'm not doing corsets. I'm not doing blousy, shapeless this and that's. But what does one wear? I spend hours agonizing. Before I came here, I spent days agonizing. Should I cover my arms? Should I cover my legs? Dare I show my knees? What about my midriff? Should I wear a bra? I've got one on. I don't normally wear one. This is for you, Miss Bra. If you're moved, if you're impressed, you can't breathe in it. That's another thing. That's another thing. Breathing. I've had problems with breathing all my life. I held my breath until I was 40. I'll show you the moment when I learned to breathe. I will demonstrate. I was in a workshop, as one is. It was a singing workshop. And there was this woman from the Roy Hart Theatre Company. She was an American woman and she was supposed to be hot shit as a teacher. And so she said, well, lie on the floor, she said. So I'm one of those people who likes to get things right. I like to do it properly. So if I'm lying on the floor, I'm lying on the floor properly, not just any old how. So I'm lying on the floor, like one does in workshops. I want to do just, properly, I'm not just doing it. So I kind of get up, what is she talking about? What is she doing? And then I kind of twig, she's not doing anything. That's the point. She's not doing anything. It's like, oh, she's kind of going, just kind of loosen up a bit. And then she says, and this is the key bit, this is the bit you have to pay attention to. Then she says, take a breath, take a deep breath. And I'm thinking, oh, I know all about deep breaths. Deep breaths go, oh! That's how you take a deep breath, you go, oh! And it hurts like hell. And everything tenses up. And your lungs tense up, your lungs burn as the air goes in. And it's unpleasant and it's painful and it hurts and it's horrible. I was in another, not a workshop, a TA, a transactional analysis session on one occasion. And this is how I discovered why I thought breathing hurt. I'm digressing, but it's important, so pay attention. So, the way it works in transactional analysis, it's a group therapy thing, and they choose one person as the kind of, you kind of offer yourself as the victim. And then the facilitator works with you. Well, I kind of opted out all the way along, and then I was getting more and more fed up and depressed because no one was taking any notice of me. And finally, I plucked up courage and I thought, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I ended up sobbing. But my sobbing was like that kind of sobbing, the kind of sobbing that it's all breathing in and you can't, it's catching in your throat, you can't cry, you can't let it out. I mean, I'm acting now, but I was doing it for real. So I've got my head on a pillow, I seem to remember. Anyway, so the facilitator is looking at me and he says to me, who tried to suffocate you when you were a child? Well, I know my father tried to strangle me when I was a teenager, but I didn't know he tried to suffocate me when I was a child as well. I thought maybe my mother really, really hated me so much that she wanted to suffocate me. And I thought, no, she wouldn't have done it that way. She'd have been more subtle. And then I realised what it was. I said, no. Nobody tried to suffocate me as a child. I said that with authority because I knew it had to be true. Because if they wanted to suffocate me, they would have suffocated me. And I was still alive. But they didn't want to suffocate me. Not unless they were pathetic, useless idiots. There's some children down here. I said, no. I had pneumonia as an infant. That must be what it's all about. I couldn't breathe. If you have pneumonia, your lungs fill up with liquid, you can't breathe. So I survived the pneumonia, but I obviously grew up with the notion that breathing was painful and difficult and unpleasant. And so I spent the first 40 years of my life breathing very, very, very shallowly and holding my breath as much as possible. I wasn't aware of this. This is just the norm for me. It's just what I did. So, back to that moment on the floor. There I am, lying there, and she says, take a deep breath. And I'm thinking, no, I can't do it. I know all about deep breaths. They hurt, they're painful, I can't do it. And then she says, no, don't do that. She says, just open your mouth and the air will flow in. And I opened my mouth and the air flowed in. hurt, and it wasn't traumatic. And I thought, oh, breathing could be rather nice. Breathing could be almost natural. And so I joined a choir. And I breathed. I learned to breathe. 15 years on, I can breathe, and I don't even think about it. I just do it like everyone else does. It is possible to heal yourself, provided you go to the right workshop. And don't wear a bra. Never wear a bra, especially if you're a man. Right at this moment, I've got a pain just here. I'm just sharing this with you. It's called a bra pain. See, I've got a broad back. Look at that. Isn't that a fine back? I was in another workshop. You can tell I'm a workshop junkie. I was in another workshop, and I had a low sort of vest thing on, and I was dancing like this with my back to the teacher, and he said, my God, he said, you've got an expressive back. You could do a whole dance just with your back, but because I've got clothes on, you can't see. So you'll just have to imagine my beautifully expressive back. So yes, broad back, no breasts, bad for bras. If you get one that fits around here, it's like this. Nothing to put in it. If you get one that fits here, it's like this. So we don't wear one at all. Except when you're in Chelsea. Well, now I've got that off my chest, I'm feeling better. Right. I went to Morocco once, talking about holidays and thinking about backs and clothing. I'm, as you see, drawing all the threads together of this performance so that it gives you the impression that it has form, shape, pace, and ending. In Morocco, I was young at the time. That's my excuse. It was when Morocco had just opened up. So all the hippies, all the trendies were going, me being one of them, of course. So we drove to Morocco, and I walked around in this country that had seen almost very few Westerners until this time. I walked around in a sundress that was this long, had a halter neck and a bare back. And I can remember leaning over a water fountain to have a drink, and a group of men gathering behind me of interest, as they'd never seen a pair of knickers like that before, so apparent. I can remember walking in the marketplace in a town called Essaouira, and all the women who were dressed in chadors, the whole works, were hissing at me. Oh, they're all so bad. These people, they're all so uncivilized. One day they'll be wearing sundresses, and then they'll all be happy. Ah, it's embarrassing, isn't it? I wonder what they thought. I should have had my shades on. That would have helped, wouldn't it? And they wouldn't have been able to see my face. Still the sunglasses, but the shades. I'm probably the only person who, in Morocco, was mugged by goats. We were driving in this open-topped Mercedes, me and my sundress, across the mountains. You could see for miles and miles and miles in all directions. Nothing. Just scrub. But over there, right on the horizon, was some movement, a flicker, dust maybe. No, something moving was coming towards us, little by little by little by little. Over there, another flicker on the horizon, something moving, slowly coming towards us. Gradually, it became apparent that they were herds of goats, and that there were goat herds with them, young boys, driving them along. They were coming closer and closer and closer and closer. Now, if you know anything about coordinates, or you're good at geometry, and you're going this way and they're coming this way, you might be able to work out the angle at which you're going to meet. And it became evident that they were coming right to the road. And not long after that, we were completely surrounded by two herds of goats. They'd been working in coordination with one another. We were surrounded by goats, and we were in an open-topped car, and young goat herds were grabbing everything they could out of the car. And of course we couldn't drive off unless we were going to kill their goats. That is what happens in Morocco. If you go in an open-topped car, you deserve all you get. So, I'm off on holiday to Turkey tomorrow. Dressed inappropriately to offend the natives, to stir up a bit of trouble, maybe get mugged. Except that I'm now a lot older, of course, and because I've agonised, and I've anguished, and I've had years and years